everybody, Doug here from Rock Creek Runner, and today we're going to be talking about trail running gear. Just the other day I was having a conversation with a road runner who was a little bit interested in running trails. You know what? Here, let me just reenact the conversation for you. Doug, I really want to start running trails, but don't I need all this new gear? Dude, that's awesome that you want to run trails. You don't need any new gear at all. Just wear what you normally run in. See, the truth is that as much as the running industry would make you want to believe it, or maybe the cool kids at your running club, you don't need all this new running gear to run trails. In fact, you don't need anything at all. You can use your normal shoes, you can use your normal clothes. You don't need anything new to experiment and play around with running on the trails. That said, if you're going to start spending more time running trails, or if you're going to train for a trail race or an ultra marathon, then you're probably going to want to invest in a few pieces of gear. So these are not musts, but they are the first places that I would start if I were picking out a few essential items for spending a lot of time on the trails, doing trail running. So first up, shoes. There are a few main differences between a trail shoe and a road shoe. So these are both Ultras. These are the Ultra Lone Peaks 3.0, and these are the Instincts 3.5. This is a road shoe, this is a trail shoe. Immediately, you'll notice that the grip is probably the biggest difference between the two pairs of shoes. A trail shoe has these gnarly lugs, is what they're called, these things that stick out that will grip to the trail, to the dirt, to the mud, to the rock, whatever it is. They will really help you stay upright and stay much more confident when you're running on a slippery or a rocky or a technical trail. Road shoes are different. They don't have those big lugs because they don't need to. They don't need to grip to anything slick because the road is nice and smooth. And the more you can grip to the road, the better you can push off, and the better you will be able to propel yourself forward on the road. But put these on a slick surface, put them through mud, and they'll slip around a little bit. That's just the way it is. The second big difference is that a good pair of trail shoes will have a much more durable upper. They'll have some extra protection around the toes. They'll have materials that can withstand hitting rocks and roots and sticks and twigs and all that stuff without tearing. And they'll just be more durable all around because you're going to put them through hell out on the trail when you're running through that creek or when you're just, shredding some epic trail. Then you want a good pair of trail shoes. The third difference is that most trail shoes have a rock plate of some sort inside the sole. A rock plate is simply a protective layer that is at the top of the sole or inside the sole, depending on the shoe, that helps protect your feet against sharp objects that you might be hitting. So mostly rocks or a root or something like that would come and poke and maybe bruise or hurt your foot a little bit. So it's just this flexible piece of protective layer that helps with pointy objects. So those are the three big differences between a road shoe and a trail shoe. And if you're going to be spending any significant amount of time on the trail, I definitely recommend getting a trail shoe. You'll be able to run much more comfortably, much more confidently, and you won't regret it. And of course, the trail shoe can also be used on the road. So if you are spending maybe 60 or 70% of your miles on the trail, then there's no harm in running on the road with a pair of trail shoes. They might be a little bit heavier. They might not have as much surface area to grip the road, but they'll do just fine. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to hurt your shoe by spending some of your miles, some of your time running in a trail shoe on the road. Okay, the second piece of gear I would get if I was just starting out is a handheld water bottle. You can get a small one like this. You can get a bigger one like this. There are several different options. Basically, any hydration company sells some sort of handheld, and they're just very practical for trail running, right? Because you don't have water fountains everywhere. You don't have bathrooms where you can fill up or get some water. So if you're spending 10 miles out on the trail, it might take you a few hours. You're going to want to carry some sort of water, and a handheld is an easy way to do it. Most of them also have some sort of little pocket that you can stick energy gels or some sort of nutrition or your keys or whatever inside those pockets. These are both amphipod bottles, but there's plenty of companies. These are my favorite, but maybe you'll have a different favorite. In addition to a pair of trail shoes, the handheld bottle would be one of the first things I would pick up. All right, so that is where I would start with trail running gear, but there are also plenty of other items that are just nice to haves. They're not essential if you are running on the trail. Again, nothing is truly essential because you can just use what you got. But there are a few nice to haves that I absolutely love. First up is a GPS watch. Doesn't really matter which brand. This is a Suunto, but a Garmin, a TomTom, any other brand watch will work just fine. But a GPS is nice to have on the trail because it is a lot harder to track your mileage without one, right? If you are on the road, you can use Google Maps, you can use Gmap pedometer, you can use all these things to track your route and see how far you're going to be running. On the trail, it's a little more difficult. Some of those do work on trails, but a lot of trails are not listed on Google Maps. A lot of trails are not available for you to use your little mapping tools on the computer. So a GPS is nice to have. You can see how far you've gone, you can see how far you're going, how fast you're going, how much you've climbed, etc., etc. GPS would be one of the first nice to haves that I would recommend picking up. Second is a headlamp. Headlamps are great for running in the dark, at dusk, pre-dawn. So many reasons to have a headlamp. A lot of ultramarathons require you to have them during the first few miles or the first few hours of your race. If you're running through the night during one of your races, you definitely need a headlamp. They are good to have because there are no street lights on the trail, and a headlamp is fun. The best part, you don't need an expensive one. This is just a Petzl Tika, which I think was like 35 bucks. It's 180 lumens and plenty for what I need most of the time on the trail. You just throw it on, turn the light on, and you are good to go. Okay, the next nice to have is a hydration pack. Hydration packs are awesome, maybe even essential for some of your longer outings on the trail, your long runs. If you're going out for 3-4 hours, you're gonna want to carry more than just a handheld could, or more than you might be able to fit in your little waistband thing, your fanny pack, whatever it's called, your hip pack, waist pack? Belt, hydration belt. You're going to be able to carry more in a vest than you would in a belt. This is an ultimate direction pack, but there are tons of brands out there and they all have slightly different variations that may fit your needs a little bit better. And this one, personally I love this one. This is the Scott Jurek 3.0 hydration vest from Ultimate Direction. Vests or packs are great because they can hold your bottles, they can hold some nutrition, they have all these pockets in the front, they have a big pocket in the back, you can put a hydration bladder in there if that's the way you roll. There's so many different options. You can carry a lot more stuff with a hydration vest or pack. So if you're going to be going out for long runs, then this is a good way to do it. This is a good way to carry all the nutrition, all the gear, all the layers, all that stuff that you don't have access to because your car's not right next to you. This is a good way to carry it all and stay safe and be able to run as far as you want to and have as epic of a day in the mountains as you want. So that's a hydration pack. And finally, my last nice to have is a map or a cell phone or something that tells you where you're going. If you are unfamiliar with the trails, it can get a little confusing, and unless you have somebody there running with you who might know those trails and know where they're going, then you're going to want to, you're not going to want to get lost. You don't want to get lost in the woods. So a map or something else is a good way to help you from getting lost. And, when I'm exploring some big route, if I'm exploring a mountain range or a trail system that I'm unfamiliar with, I will often carry a map in my hydration pack just so that I can check it when I really need to, if I'm second guessing a turn, etc. A cell phone, I'm not going to list that here. I guess I am kind of listing it here. But a cell phone is also a good tool for that. You can use the GPS system in your cell phone and save maps directly to your phone. And you can always call for help if you get yourself in trouble. So a cell phone is nice to have. But I love the old-fashioned map. All right, guys, so that is gear for trail runners. What you really need, which, by the way, was nothing, right? What I would recommend picking up first if you're really taking trail running seriously, and then the nice-to-haves for if you are running trails all the time or if you're training for some big trail race. Those nice-to-haves will come in handy and make your life a lot easier. There is so much other gear out there. There are trail-specific clothing, there's trekking poles, there's hats, there's all these different filtration systems, so much stuff that you can get. And those are great, and they serve a purpose, they come in handy at times, but those aren't the essentials, and in my opinion, they aren't worthy of this list of key pieces of gear that you would want if you were just starting out on the trails. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers some of your questions that you might have. I certainly answered that dude's question from earlier. And let me know what you think about videos like this. They're fun to do, but I don't know if people actually enjoy them. So I guess that's it. I will see you on the trails.